Well, we're here talking with Matthew Yeager, whose poem From a Jar of Balloons, or The Uncooked Rice, is the longest poem selected for the Best American Poetry 2010 by our guest editor, Amy Gersler. And Matthew, I'm so fascinated by this poem. We have only a section of it, and it is by far the longest poem in the book, about 12 pages, and it's all questions.
Yes.
Where did you get the idea to do such a poem?
Well, the true story of the generation of this poem was that about I think 3 or 4 years ago, there was an incident where a poet who was giving a university reading, and on the university's dime racked up a bill of about $600 in residuals from basically the hotel bar. And anyway, some other poets were joking about this because the word of it got out, and people started writing poems about this event. And I was kind of the sort of youngest participant in this little email group, and so I wrote the poem that he was speaking to like a 1-900 number, and it was a kind of a male voice that was just asking questions to this sort of hired friend, and that's how that explained how this $600 bill of residuals had happened. So that was actually kind of the seed of this poem, but it quickly just became something kind of more than that, and so on to
that was the most unexpected question I ever heard.
I really thought that I wasn't going to say it at all. I think that's great. It's the ugly kind of little truth at the center of it.
What you've done is left everyone with a question mark hanging over their heads, and how appropriate for a poem that consists entirely of questions, and really interesting ones juxtaposed. For example, have you ever had a haircut so bad you cried? When you open the drawer after having poured yourself a bowl of cereal, do you reach for a small or a large spoon? How conscious are you of your posture? Will you agree to let a lover use your toothbrush? Now, I'll stop right there to give the viewer a little taste, a foretaste of how you juxtapose different questions that people really differ by. And then you have a Wallace Stevens epigraph, pick the acrid colors out.
Yeah.
What made you choose that epigraph?
Well, the epigraph came from the kind of subtitle of the poem. It's called the head title of the poem. It's A Jar of Balloons, or The Uncooked Rice. And the image of a jar of balloons is if you were in a sort of store where balloons were sold, they'd have a big jar of millions, or not millions, hundreds, thousands of balloons kind of all laying together in a jar. And if you look at them and you think of all these balloons were inflated, they would fill the store and more. They would fill Macy's, and so the thought that these questions all kind of could be inflated at some point. I mean, if you ask somebody how tall was your father, and if you had brothers, were you taller than they, or were they taller than you? I mean, it invites it can be inflated almost by the reader. And so these kind of balloons were these acrid colors that...
I think that you've given me a tremendous idea just now, which is that we could do a little routine in which I ask a question and you have to do with it. And that would really be a good routine.
I think that we've kind of happened into that routine. That's really just that's how it's just happened, wholly unintentionally. By trying to answer the questions honestly and thoroughly and not wittily and abruptly, I have created a little situation that we're both involved in. But
it's great. It's a new poetic form. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing. Our director has given us the cutthroat signal.
Yes.
And here we are, Matthew Yeager, David Lehman, on the 14th, 15th, or 16th of August, 2010.
All right, this is for the time capsule, not the public eye.